Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our newest edition of Shots with Legends in this Christmas time. Wish you a Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. We hope you're having a good time alongside your families and friends. Today, we bring you this very special guest from San Bernardino, Victoria, who's going to talk a little bit about her goals, her dreams, the idea of working as a graphic designer, plans for the next few years, and she'll be talking about her company she founded. She founded in the during the pandemic times. So stay tuned and don't forget to follow us on our social media. This is going to be an amazing shot. Stay tuned.
Hello, sir.
Hello. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing okay. Nice to meet you.
Good. You too. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, it's our pleasure. How's the day going?
Going good. Woke up early. I played some piano this morning.
No,
and then now I'm here. So
might be a Christmas spirit.
I'm sorry?
I was saying might be spirit, Christmas spirit. You see, you were playing piano, and I'm thinking about Christmas right now.
Oh yes, that's true. I actually
Yeah.
don't like play any Christmas songs for some reason. I just don't do any holiday songs. I just do like songs that I like and I just try to learn them.
Yeah. Welcome to Shots with Legends. It's a pleasure to have you here. We have been
Thank you.
delaying this. We've been delaying this shot, but we had to make things right, and we're actually waiting for this opportunity to be able to talk to you.
Oh yes, thank you.
So tell us about yourself. Who is Victoria? What you've been doing in the lately?
Well, I'm an artist, I'm an interviewer. I have my own company where I provide just different artsy services like graphic design, motion graphics, stuff
Yes.
like that. And I've also made a couple short films with that company I have. It's kind of like a production company as well.
Yeah.
But the two short films only have me in it, even though I'm not an actor. um, and I'm a college student. I have my associate's degree in graphic
Yeah.
design, and I'm working towards my bachelor's degree now. And I hope to finish that sometime next year, hopefully.
Yeah.
I've been in school for 6 years because
Okay.
my first college closed, so it kind of threw everything back a bit.
Okay. Yeah. No, but how's your production process in this time of we know we're celebrating Merry Christmas and we're about to celebrate the transition of the year. So is this the right time to be thinking about art, to be thinking about script, to be thinking about productions, to be thinking about projects? How is your day looking to the phase we are right now?
I mean, as it gets closer to the holiday season, it's always like pretty slow, right? Like it's more me catching up, making sure everyone's interviews are published, making sure I finish everything for any clients because people are so focused on the holidays, right? So
Yeah,
anything involved that kind of slows down. But I mean, I always try to do something creative every day just
that's true.
because I think that art should be year round. you know, even though it may not be for college courses or for a client,
Yeah.
it should be like a year round occurrence, I think.
No, yeah. No, it's important to be investing or focusing on what we're willing to achieve or willing to do best. Because there is no a better time or best time to be investing on our dreams. So every
Oh
time,
yeah.
every second, every minute is the right time to be doing what we love doing.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I mean the pandemic kind of halted things for a lot of people, right? I mean, especially for the art world too.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, so movies are not getting made right now. I mean, it was kind of a crazy thing,
Mm.
but I guess that's where you just have to kind of improvise a little bit because
Yeah.
I like work alone anyway, so it's not like I wasn't needing to social distance. I social distance year round, so
Yeah. Now, fortunately, we have the internet to connect us and to bring people together.
Oh yeah, for sure. That helps a lot. I
So,
mean, if this happened back in the day, we wouldn't have had the internet, so it would have been harder to create things.
Yeah, yeah. I would have to fly to San Bernardino to meet you personally, maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but tell me, I was wondering here. Can you speak a little bit about this passion of yours? Why choose the film industry? Can you
Well,
can you speak about when did it started? Your biggest inspirations? Why did you choose to follow this path?
I mean, in a weird way, when it comes to the entertainment industry, I feel like I try to put myself in multiple aspects of it.
Yeah,
Like the film thing kind of was kind of an accident. So what happened was, to get my associate's degree, I had to make a short film that showcases everything you've learned as a student, right? Or else you don't get your degree. So I was a
okay.
little stressed because, like, okay, I have no one around who wants to do this with me. And I have a lot of friendships where people live in other states and stuff. So it's like, okay, I have no one really here to do that with. So
Yeah,
that was a bit of a challenge to do something on my own. But then I thought, hey, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it right.
yeah,
And I'm going to make it look as industry as I can. And I entered it into a large majority of film festivals, and I got a lot of awards and film festival selections because of it. So that was a
mm,
good thing. And then my
no,
second short film that I did was just really for fun, not for school or anything, just because I really enjoyed the filming process, the editing process and stuff, and I wanted to just keep going with that. So my goal is to try to do at least one short film a year,
yeah,
just as something for myself. But in terms of like the industry in general, I like to kind of touch it in any way I can. Like, okay, someone needs a logo, or I want to go interview an actor, kind of
yeah,
thing. But like
no,
the film industry specifically, it was more I fell into it because of a school requirement, and I really enjoyed
no,
it.
no. Wish you all the best. I hope you achieve that goal you're dreaming with.
Thank you.
Yeah, but can you talk about your company? I know you have these companies. Can you talk about the plans, about the goals in the next 5 years? Do you have a crew? Is it easy to fund a company, and what are the limitations? Can you talk about the whole process of building a company, building your company and trying to find that big opportunity that will maybe elevate your name, your company, and give you a lot of opportunity your crew.
Um, well, I mean, I've always kind of wanted to start my own company because with graphic design, you can get a lot of work just doing it freelance.
Yeah,
But I always wanted to kind of have a company name backed onto it. That way it looks a little more official than just my name, I guess, in a weird way. And I thought, well, like a company that provides for all art services, that's pretty broad. That way I can offer people things in all different aspects, not just graphic design. Um, I started it during the pandemic. That was really stupid of me to do that. Because when you start a company during the pandemic, when people are so focused on their essentials, and art at that time
yeah,
was not essential at all. So I was like, okay, that probably wasn't the smartest timing, but I just felt inspired to do it, see what happens. And I was able to get a few little clients from that time. And it's
yeah,
gotten better now that the world's a little more back to normal in a way. I mean,
yeah,
we're never going to be 100% normal, but you know.
yeah. We won't. We won't. After that, we won't be 100% normal. Yeah,
But I mean, that was a huge issue with starting it during a pandemic. And in general, starting any company, there are a lot of like roadblocks, right? You have to
mm.
look like you're very serious, but you don't want to like intimidate people, but yet you don't want to look like you don't know what you're doing either.
Mm.
So it's a lot of balancing, I think. And once
Yeah,
people hear that I'm a student, that right there can add a lot of trepidation for people. It's like,
yeah.
oh, okay, you're a student, so it's gonna be really bad, huh?
This
But luckily, I turned it off, so that's good.
yeah, but we do have some positive, let's say, results from the pandemic. You say you open
Mhm.
your company in this during the pandemic, and a few days ago I was talking with a friend of mine from LA. He was talking, well, actually, he was talking about his script. He's willing to produce a short film about two friends who are separated because of the pandemic. So
Yeah.
I realized that the pandemic somehow gave us the possibility, or it actually challenged us to think differently, and realize that
Mhm.
even being distant from each other, we can do extraordinary things. Because I think lately we need to redefine. We need to find a new definition about the distance, because
Mhm.
after this pandemic, we saw that we can be together even if you are in France, if I am in Colombia, etc. So what we
Mhm.
need to do is to find the same vision. What are we willing to achieve together? And can you say that the pandemic actually gave you the good results because of the fact that you had the opportunity of building of creating your company?
Yeah. I mean, like when the pandemic first hit, at first it's like, oh God, the whole world's gonna explode. And then it's
Yeah.
like time on, it's like, you know what, there could be some good that comes out of this. I mean, it is gonna challenge people to think a little bit more outside the box with things. Like
Yeah.
to talk to your friends, you don't have to like go out with your friends. You could just use FaceTime, you could use Zoom, right? I
Mm,
mean, there's so many ways now to do things because of technology.
mm,
And I think like making a film, for example, it does challenge you even like in the writing process because you're going to explore themes of like isolation or
yeah.
anxiety, things that have always been around, but they were so heightened during the pandemic
Yeah.
because of those things.
But I was going to ask you about this your career in graphic design, animation, etc. Yesterday I was
Mhm.
watching Alita, and it's a nice movie though. And days before I was watching Spider-Man in the multiverse, the animation one. We find there
Mhm.
Haley Steinfeld, etc. I was going to ask you about your vision about creating animation and being part of this somehow difficult industry, because lately we see that it might be a little bit difficult to be part of the industry, because we have a lot of graphic designers, we have a lot of people working on animation, work on a company like Netflix, like Disney, etc. uh,
Mhm.
are you starting the process to be part of the filming industry? What are the challenges when you analyze the actual scenario, and do you have people you're working with so you can build your dream so quickly? Can you talk a little bit about this whole thing?
Um, well, I mean, when it comes to like animation, that was originally my major in college was for
Yes.
animation, and then I was doing that for a couple years, well, 2 years and 5 months to be exact, before that school closed. And I had a lot of professors who I stayed in touch with, and they were like, "Look, animation is hard.
Yes.
You're not that good at it. Why don't you try something else?" And then that's when I
Okay.
kind of discovered graphic design and that I'm a lot better with that. But with animation, as I've kind of done it more on my own and stuff, like, okay, I may not be able to make a character walk or something. Like, I cannot do Spider Man.
Okay.
But I like to do like a title animation, like motion graphics thing, making like stuff move, make someone's logo move, stuff like that. So that is still a form of animation. It's just not like Sony or Disney animation type.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like when it comes to animation as an industry, it is very hard to get into. Graphic design as well. I mean, anything in that world, the whole Hollywood thing, it is hard to get in there because there are a lot of requirements that I didn't know about at the time.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know certain jobs you need to have a degree. Certain
Yeah.
ones you need to be in school going for that degree. I always thought you could just go up to Warner Brothers, knock on the door, and give your portfolio. It's
Yeah.
not that easy.
Yeah.
Like during the pandemic, actually, I actually wrote my first script that I wrote was a feature length. It's over
Mm,
90 pages. I was all proud of myself. And I start calling different film studios like, hey, I wrote this script and I want to sell it to you. And none of them will talk to me because I don't have an agent. That was something
okay.
else that I didn't know. That, oh, you
Yeah.
need an agent to even get your script looked at? Oh, wow. All right. Then now I'm sitting here with this stack of 90 pages just collecting dust.
Yeah,
It's
no,
like,
the
I don't,
industry, the industry is very complicated. You know,
oh yeah, I mean, look at
I once
work.
had I once had an agent because I'm a screenwriter too.
Mhm.
This year I was a finalist in New York Cinematographer Awards and in Los semi-finalist in Los Angeles Cinematographer Awards,
Oh,
among other competitions. And I had the privilege of having one agent, maybe two,
mhm,
from New
mhm.
York, and
Oh, cool.
she created me this opportunity. I was a cover of one magazine from Maryland called the Sentinel. And
Mhm.
this year, I mean, maybe last month or before last month, I saw my interview got published on Shout Out Atlanta. But I'm saying this
Mhm.
because to achieve these milestones, to achieve these opportunities, I had to have an agent. But
Yeah.
actually, I no longer have an agent right now because I realized that I had to pay some fees. But some friend
Mhm.
of mine, yeah, friends of mine actually give me this advice not to accept to pay to have an agent because well we're looking for an agent because we don't have condition, we don't have money to enter into to the film industry. So if you find an
Mhm.
agent saying like, oh, you need to pay like a $200 per month, etc., it might be a little bit complicated if you don't have the condition to manage those situations. But I think even if you don't have an agent, we need to find. But it's complicated because the industry actually
Mhm.
challenge you to have an agent to be part of the run, to be part
Right.
of the platform. So what are you doing? Are you searching for an agent? Do you have an agent already? What are the plans
Um,
for?
I've never had an agent. As soon as I heard from, like, I called 3 different studios,
Yeah.
and after talking to 3 different people, it's like, okay, it's kind of important that I get one. So I started just calling different agencies,
Yeah.
and unfortunately, I've been calling like the really big ones that have been around for like 100 years, and they
Mm.
all kept saying, well, we can't take you on as a client because you're not solicited. I go, okay, so what do I have to do to be
Yeah.
solicited? Well,
Okay.
you have to be referred to us by someone who's already a client. It's like, oh, well, that's going to be difficult.
Yeah.
That's been a challenge is I get someone on the phone or I get someone on email and I don't qualify because I was
Mm.
not sought out. So that's been
No,
tricky.
that's sad. That's sad. That's complicated. Yes.
Yeah, it's been a blow to the confidence, but it's okay.
Sometimes it's complicated to when people ask you for references while you're starting your career, and you just ask yourself, where am I? Because it's like they're asking you to have the gene of the lamp, to be in Aladdin's movie and asking for three wishes. But it's complicated
Mhm.
because when you're starting your career, they don't give you a chance. And well, it's all about business.
Yeah. I
It's
mean,
all
that
about
is a big part of it, but I mean, I'm almost confident that back in the day it was never like this difficult, right? I mean, now it
yeah,
just feels so untouchable certain things. I mean, with all the technology, it's so great and stuff, but there are things that are still a problem. Like
yeah,
you can't
yeah,
just go up to a studio, knock on the door. It
yeah,
kind of felt like back in the day you probably could do that. Now
yeah.
you can't, like untouchable these things. And
Hmm.
you just send an email and you pray someone sees it.
Yeah, yeah. No, I feel what you're saying. I feel what you're saying. You know,
Yeah, I mean it's
yeah. But how do you access? How do you analyze the presence of women in the film industry? Because I'm asking this because before you were talking about maybe I don't know if you just gave up about this dreaming about animation, but I'm trying to understand the presence of women in certain positions. Talking about directing. I mean, talking about producing, talking about animation and different areas. How do you access? How do you analyze the presence of women in the film industry nowadays?
I mean, it's definitely gotten better. Like, I mean, look at back in the day, it was just all men working in those things, right? There wasn't really a whole lot of women.
Yeah.
And when I first knew that I wanted to work in the entertainment industry, I was like probably 7, 8 years old when I knew for sure I want to work in that world. I knew right away, okay, it's a male dominated industry. It really is.
Mm.
And there's a lot of men making the big decisions. But I mean, as time has gone on, by the time I went into college, there was a lot more of a presence of women, I think.
Yeah.
And I think a lot more women are starting to have higher positions, like being a director, a producer, you know. It's
Mm.
more now than it ever was because I think the industry's ready for it now because it
Yeah.
has evolved a lot and people are seeing, hey, women also have stories to tell too. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
No,
that's
but
kind of the that it's
yeah.
a lot more common now.
Yeah. No, but the thing is, we still find this certain situation where women, even being in a leading role, they actually get paid less than some actors who are in a
Yeah.
secondary role. Yeah, it's complicated. So that's why I was asking you about this whole scenario. How do you see that? Is there something we can do to change these scenarios?
I mean, I am aware about like the gender page gap. That's just crazy to me how like there is a pay difference when someone's doing the exact same job
Yeah,
just because
yeah.
you're a different gender. I mean, that's crazy to me. But I would hope that it gets better as time progresses. I mean, in a lot of ways it has gotten better, but in some ways it hasn't. You got a man and a woman both doing the same job on the
Yeah,
same
yeah,
movie list, and the woman got paid less. It's like, wait a minute.
yeah.
But I think a great way to like change that would probably be just for women to keep wanting to be heard, just
Mm,
keep saying, "Hey, I I did the same job he did and I deserve more money," you know,
yeah,
for women
yeah.
just to use their voices more about it. And then
Mm,
eventually, if you're loud enough, I mean, change has to happen. If you're loud enough, I mean, I would think,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
but I don't see it getting worse. I think as time progresses, I feel pretty confident
Mm,
that, like, in let's say 10 years' time, there's going to be equal pay. And I think there's going to be a fair amount of both men and women in the industry, I think.
yeah.
I
But how
mean, we'll
can
have to see,
how
but you know.
yeah, how can anyone work with you or with your company? How can someone call you or etc. make contact to build a project together? Are you open for that?
I mean, so far everything I've done has been by myself. I've never done anything with anyone else.
Yeah,
I've done like little group projects for school, you know, but I've never like worked with someone on like an industry project. I'm definitely open to it. It's just like with the pandemic and stuff, it's like, okay, hang on a second, we gotta wear our mask. Because I'm like a
yeah,
total germaphobe. I'm like afraid of
yeah,
germs and getting sick. And I've always been like that, even before the pandemic. I've always been a bit loony with that. So definitely like with all the precautions in place, I
mm.
would be definitely willing to work with other people. It just the
Mm.
opportunity hasn't arisen, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. But you didn't talk about you didn't tell us about your biggest inspiration in the film industry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Like you're like in terms of directors, screenwriters,
Yeah, I'm
actors, like
talking about people who motivate you. People who, when you see that person, that actor, that director, that producer, etc., that graphic designer, the people you see, like when you see them, you see like, well, it's because of that guy, it's because of that lady, that I'm here, that I'm trying to write my own path, etc.
I mean, in terms of like graphic design, I didn't really start knowing about different names of people in the graphic design world until I was in college for a couple of years. I started learning, you know, different popular names, but with graphic design, there's so much of it where people do work and they don't get credit for it, right?
Mm,
Like you see a nice t-shirt design, like with this shirt, I don't know who the designer was of the flowers, for example,
yeah,
which can be kind of frustrating, right? Like you look at a logo, you don't really know who made it. But with graphic design, I never knew people's names and stuff, so it was hard to like have inspirations by name. I
mm,
think with like film and TV, it's a lot easier because you got the end credits of that show or movie, and you could see people's names.
yeah,
So in terms of like film and TV, like for a director that I've always like really looked up to is David Cronenberg. He does like
mm,
a lot of horror films and stuff, and my 2 short films have been horror movies, and I kind of I'm very inspired by like his style, like with the body horror stuff. And I'm trying to do that, but I cannot do it nearly as great as him, obviously. But
Okay.
but he's
Yeah.
definitely a very big one.
Mm.
Some other directors I like would be like uh David Lynch, David Fincher. So there's 3 Davids there for you.
Yeah.
Like with TV shows that I grew up with, I like Dan Schneider, like he made Drake and Josh,
Mm.
iCarly, you know, all those shows that I grew up with, I like those. And like with actors, I don't think I'm much of an actor at all. I just do it because, like I said, I can't find anyone to be in
Mm.
my movies, so I try my best. I've been told I'm not bad, but I think I'm pretty bad. But like actors that I like.
Don't be hard on yourself.
Well, thank you, thank you. Some actors that I always like grew up liking were like Nicole Kidman, Julianne Moore,
I love
Juliette
it.
Binoche.
I love Nicole Kidman. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, she's one of my favorites. Rob Pattinson, Willem Dafoe, Joaquin Phoenix. I mean, those are just a few,
Yeah.
but
But
there's like a pretty long list of people who I've admired and who I would like to interview and stuff, and it just hasn't happened.
but what does it take to be perfect on what you do?
Like to be perfect
Like
at it.
yeah, like looking to the fact that you're building a career as a graphic designer. What do you think that is relevant or important to be perfect on what you're doing or you're willing to do?
I I've always felt that perfection is something we're always striving for, and that it's kind of hard to reach pure perfection, right? Because you're constantly learning stuff. Like I'll think that I mastered a program, like Photoshop, for example. I'll
Mm.
think I mastered it, and then there's this new tool that comes out with an update or some button that I didn't even know was there. Like, oh, okay, I guess I didn't know everything. So I guess a big thing is just to constantly practice and to do research because
Mm.
these programs, I mean, it is a digital world with graphic design.
Yeah.
So these programs are constantly evolving and changing. And to be part of that is, well, you know, you have to do research and keep pressing buttons and hopefully you don't crash the computer. So that
Yeah.
would be it, I think. You know, just keep practicing and don't break the computer.
Yeah. But can you give that kind of advice? Because sometimes one of our limitations is it's not about actually, I think it's about fear. Because when you
Mhm,
find that when we see that the path is getting harder, we
mhm,
sometimes give up during during the run.
mhm,
I'm trying to remember some wise words from Denzel Washington. He said like if we need to
mhm.
if you have to fall, you need to fall forward because you will see what you're falling at. So what
Right.
can you say to those people? To I'm actually thinking about young like us. What
I
are
mean, like,
the techniques when you feel like you're about to give up?
I mean,
Did you had those kind of moments that you were think about giving up and you say like, man, I can't give up. I need to keep punching. I need to keep focusing on what I'm willing to achieve. Can you talk about
I mean,
yeah, I'm listening.
I'm sorry. Uh, I mean, like, whenever things got difficult, just simply like, why am I not understanding this? Why am I not getting that? I've always thought try harder, push harder, but then at a certain point, it's okay. Maybe I'm just not good at this, right? And then you kind of just keep trying different things and just keep practicing, and then you'll see what you're good at.
Mm.
And I mean, there are some things that I've always felt people are kind of born to do, right? Like you
Okay.
have like a natural talent for something. And
Mm.
there's other things where you have to learn it. But nothing's impossible. I've always thought, hey, as long as you're willing to put in the time and, you know, you keep chugging along, you should eventually get there, right?
Mm.
But
Yeah.
there have been moments where I did kind of think, like when my first college closed, I thought, oh God, is this like a sign from the universe? I mean, there were a lot of students there who thought that they should probably give up what they were studying in terms of art like, okay, maybe I'm not cut out to do this, because what are the chances your university shuts down? It is extremely rare. So for that to happen to our school, does that mean we're not supposed to be doing this? Right? A lot of people are looking at it very, very, I guess for lack of a better word, very deep, right?
Yeah.
Which I'm not that deep that way. I'm like, oh, okay, well, it closed. We just find another school.
Yeah.
But I mean, there are times where you kind of want to give up and you think, hey, this is really difficult. There's a lot of pushbacks and stuff, and the pandemic was a big pushback too for a lot of people. But you just have to kind of keep trying and see what hits. It's kind of like throwing spaghetti on the wall and seeing if it sticks.
Yeah. No, I hope you get what you're running after. We hope that you find that milestone, that dream you have been dreaming with, and that maybe 2023 be that year, the year of opportunity, a lot of opportunity, a lot of success, and above all, a lot of happiness.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So it was a pleasure to have you on Chat with Legend. But before we leave, I was going to ask you about the message you want to leave to youngs all over the world. And if you feel free for that, can you give a little bit of the projects that you have hidden to start the next year?
The first question you said was what? I'm sorry.
No, I was asking about what are you? Do you have those projects that you think like, oh man, 2023, I need to start with this.
Oh, I see.
This project, etc. Yeah. Do you have any project you're willing to make it happen in the start of the next year?
Well, like in terms of my interviewing, I'm hoping to try to get on like more press tours, because I had a lot of trouble getting on a proper press tour this past year. Because with the whole Zoom thing, I thought, hey, it's a lot easier to do it this way, right? But I've had a lot of trouble getting into that, so I'm hoping to, get some more interviews out there for sure, but try to get on the press tour train a little bit. I did do things this year that I never did before. Like I wrote a album review. Well, I wrote a couple album reviews. I wrote a post-show story about the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards, which were things that just kind of happened. I was seeking an interview job for all three things, and then those things kind of happened. So I really like that aspect of writing, with like the whole journalism aspect. So I'm hoping to explore more of that next year as well. And in terms of like my art, to get myself out there more with my company and just try to get more clients locally, or people through like Instagram, even like a DM kind of thing.
Yeah.
like exploring all facets and avenues of how I can get that going. And I definitely want to try to make at least one more short film next year, and try to get an agent to get my screenplay out there. Would be nice.
No, you'll get there. You'll get there for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're almost there. I think even on January you might get one agent. Let's pray for that.
Oh yeah, I can feel like I'm on the cusp of something. I'm just not hitting it.
Yeah. No, it was great talking to you, Victoria.
You too, sir. Thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, I hope to see you in the next opportunity, next episodes of Chats with Legends.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
Yeah. What an amazing and electrifying chat we had today with Victoria. We felt your presence here on Chat with Legends. It was a pleasure to have you there. See you in the next episode of Chat with Legends. Happy New Year